the people of Caracas were looking forward to a new bridge to cross the Orinoco River. Instead, all they've got are 20 of these half-finished piers gathering mildew and rust. And this is just one of 23 multi-million-dollar infrastructure projects stalled across Venezuela.
All state construction works are paralyzed. The Boyacha Guerra, which is being carried out by the Portuguese, has been paralyzed. The Puerto Cabela La train line, which the Italians are doing, is paralyzed. The Llanos train line, being carried out by the Chinese, is also paralyzed.
Many of these projects were being built by the Brazilian engineering giant Odebrecht, which is mired in controversy for paying hundreds of millions of dollars in bribes to get deals in Latin America and other regions. And transparency advocates say the company never intended to finish the job, something Odebrecht denies.
A lack of transparency is a sign that someone wants to hide something. It could be because of inefficiencies, but seeing the quantity of incomplete works, it makes you think that perhaps getting the bribe was the most important thing, and perhaps those individuals were not so interested in seeing the works finished, or that Odebrecht artificially raised prices so that when it charged the first part, it already had its needs covered, and finishing the works was the least important thing.
But the Venezuelan government is also accused of failing to hold up its side of the deal, because money it owes for many of these projects hasn't been paid in nearly 2 years.
Of course, in order for these works to be completed, resources need to be sent by the beneficiary of the works, which is the state. If these are paralyzed, it is because of the lack of state resources.
An inquiry by Venezuela's opposition parties found 6 projects were handed to Odebrecht without any bidding process or public disclosure. It accuses the government of accepting kickbacks for letting the company overcharge by as much as 7 times. The government denies the charges. Odebrecht's office in Caracas was raided in February, but the state prosecutor has not filed any charges. President Nicolas Maduro says the country doesn't need Odebrecht, and it can complete these projects on its own.
It's steel bars, cement and work. We Venezuelans know how to do that. We are going to complete all the works of Odebrecht has in this country.
But with his government on shaky ground and the economy near collapse, it seems unlikely Maduro's orders will do much to jumpstart unfinished business. Mobin Nasir, TRT World.
Well, our editor-at-large, Craig Copetas, joins us now from Paris. Craig, thanks for joining us again. Let me ask you the exact same question we posed at the top of the programme. Who is making money out of these incompleted projects in Venezuela?
The people who have accepted the bribes to let these contracts happen. You know, Matthew, it's criminal to steal a car. It's daring to rob a bank. But in Latin America right now, particularly in Venezuela with this company, Odebrecht, it's a mark of greatness to steal a country. And trying to place blame here, well, doing that just diminishes the scope of this, because as the guilt increases, the blame just diminishes, because now everyone in Latin America is starting to think that everyone is a thief. And what's happened in Venezuela is really a marvelous illustration of this. This company, Odebrecht, admitted to paying hundreds of millions of dollars in bribes in 12 Latin American countries. In Venezuela alone, they signed 32 construction contracts worth some $40 billion. And according to court records, they paid $98 million in bribes to land these contracts.
So, Craig, we know that
that's a criminal enterprise.
Odebrecht itself is in trouble. But what about the Venezuelan politicians who facilitated this? How far along has the country got in holding their feet to the fire?
They're not being held to the fire because they are politicians and they control the country. You're seeing politicians being held to the fire in the Dominican Republic, Peru, Brazil, and Colombia. There have been investigations, there have been arrests. The United States has also held some of Odebrecht's officials to the fire for this and have made agreements and payback deals with them. But Venezuela remains the outlier here. Those jobs will not be completed. And what the concern is that when Venezuela returns to normal, the same coterie of crooks are going to come in and do the same sort of deals to finish the construction.
Well, that's the interesting thing, isn't it? The president, Nicolas Maduro, is saying, you know, what Odebrecht was doing wasn't rocket science, it's just construction, we can complete it ourselves. But that's not really the point. That's not really the point, is it? The money has gone out the door. And it's the people who, as we know, are in really dire straits there, who are, you know, it's their money that's gone out.
Well, and this is like I was saying, Matthew, you know, perhaps correctly in Venezuela right now, the entire country believes everyone's a thief because that's how this nation has been run for the past 20-some years. I don't know what the solution is. The political experts who go in to find solutions, they certainly haven't found an answer to fixing the Venezuelan problem. It will take a massive, massive injection of cash to repair Venezuela. Venezuela has no money, it has natural resources. How it's going to be done, I don't know, and neither do the experts.
Craig Copetas in Paris, thank you very much.